Hi guys. Today we have Jen Allam here with us. She is the England manager. She is Derby Phantoms captain, Derby Phantoms co-president, and Derby Seahawks head coach. So she's got a fair bit on her plate. How are you doing, Jen?
I'm doing good, thank you. I've had a really lovely day, enjoying the sunshine, so all good.
Right. So today we're going to be looking at just your England manager stuff because otherwise we could be here all day. Uh, so tell us a little bit about your background as England manager. So sort of when did you become manager?
Okay, yeah. So I kind of interviewed for the role, I think, early November. And then obviously had the interview process, which was obviously like a CV application, a little written submission piece, along as well with an actual interview. And
Who was
then,
that with?
that was with Jonathan, Steve, Jaff, and Charlotte.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
intimidating.
it was a very intimidating panel. They had really amazing poker faces too, which
Yeah,
made it very
yeah.
hard to read. And then after that, I kind of was obviously deliberated, and then I got told, I think just before Christmas, and then obviously we had the Christmas time, and then we had the mad dodgeball of January. So in that time, I kind of unofficially came into the role, kind of obviously learning about the staff that we have and a bit the setup and doing a bit of mentoring. And then it got announced publicly in February.
Very nice. So what originally made you apply for the role?
Oh, I think there was so many layers to it. So, first of all, obviously, I saw the role had gone out, and then I started having a few people like message me and nudge me and be like, "Oh, you're gonna go for the role?" And I was like, "Nah," joking, like brushing it off. And then I had a few more people, and then I was like, maybe I should actually think about this. Like, there's others that have confidence in me, so maybe I should too. And then people were being so sweet and kind of saying that they thought my skill set and my personality would kind of go with it, as you said, that I obviously do a bit with Derby Uni and Phantoms. So again, I think that kind of gave me that organisational skills and understanding of what's needed to facilitating and running maybe a club or slash academy. So that was really good insight. Additionally, I guess I've been playing the sport for 10 years now as it drops. We played at the same time. So,
Yeah, 10, 11 years or so, I think. Yeah.
yeah. So, I think overall, like, that's given me some insight because I've obviously played at different levels, which I felt was made it a bit easier for me to understand and relate to players too. So, and then also, this sounds really weird, but it's kind of been a bit of a dodgeball bucket list for me. I have a little dodgeball bucket list with lots of things that I want to
Okay.
kind of achieve.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a great addition to that bucket list. So, yeah, go for that. So I
Is
guess
it an addition or was it already on your bucket list?
it wasn't on my bucket list,
Okay.
but then when I kind of, like I said, I had a real think about it because I wanted to make sure that I could fully commit everything to it. I was like, yeah, this is a great addition. So, yeah, it's been whacked on there. So I guess with all of that in mind, I kind of did my research and then kind of thought what I could develop and how I could put my own twist on it and how I could make a positive impact. Because, like I said, I want to do it wholeheartedly. I don't want to not be able to give 100% to it. So essentially, then I took that leap, and here we are now.
Nice. I think I may have been one of the people that nudged you to go for it as well. 'Cause-
Yes, you were. You were someone that kind of gave me that little nudge at league.
Yeah, yeah. I think the work you've done with Phantoms is so good. I think they're on their way to becoming a super club. So hopefully you can do the same with England.
I know. Fingers crossed and no pressure, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, nobody's watching. Um, so you've been in the job since November, did you say?
Well, November is when
That's
I applied, so
when you
like,
applied, sorry.
let's go for early December. That's fine.
Yeah, So how have you settled into the role since December?
Oh, well, obviously we have a lot of staff, so it took me time to kind of meet them all, really get to know them all on and off the court, because they're humans too. So I think that was really important for me to kind of understand their roles, their remits, and kind of their impact to England, because that kind of helped to make a clearer picture of what I do and how I can support and hear their voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, now after a couple of months, I'm definitely, after a couple of trainings and everything, and seeing that routine of what goes on and what goes on behind the scenes, I'm definitely more settled, and I'm kind of feeling a lot more confident within the role as well, because a big part of it is confidence and getting to know how, again, I can make that impact. So yeah, I feel that the confidence levels for it has really gone through the roof, and I'm now getting excited all about Euros and everything. Is getting excited seeing all the teams, meeting all the players. So yeah, I'm definitely settled, and I think a big part of that is honestly the staff. The staff members are fantastic. Like, honestly, they've been such great rocks for me. Really supportive and patient. So I think, yeah, I'm really excited to make my own brand. So yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, obviously being an England player myself, I can see what you're doing from a player's perspective, and from where I'm standing, it looks like everyone respects you, and it's a good energy in the club to have you on board. So you're doing a
Oh,
good job from me.
oh, that's so kind of you to say.
So in terms of like England as a whole, what would you say it represents to you? Like the word England, like what does that mean to you?
Oh, that's such a good question. Um, Obviously pride. Pride at the foremost is, obviously, you've got to be proud. It's an amazing achievement for anyone, for any nation, to represent their home country. So I think a big proud moment of that. And then obviously with great power comes great responsibility. So
Yeah,
from that, obviously that's being a really good role model for the community. So I think that's the biggest thing for me, is I want our members, I want England to be seen as a good, positive brand, to make an impact to the community and to the growth of the sport. So I guess being a good role model, having a positive attitude, and making that kind of impact, showing that hard work. Because honestly, at trainings, the players give their hearts out. Like, they work so hard on and off the court, and I think that's it, was what a lot of people don't see. And along with the staff, there's so much work that goes on off court from players and staff. So a lot of dedication, a lot of passion, and again, that teamwork, because you don't want to let your teams down. So a lot of team spirit. So overall, I think they're the kind of words that I would use: as commitment, dedication, teamwork, role model, and pride.
nice. Let's hope that comes across.
Fingers crossed.
So just before we started the interview, you mentioned to me that you're spending a lot of time organizing Euros, but not only organizing Euros, looking into the future.
Mhm.
So what would you say are kind of your visions for the future in terms of England dodgeball?
Okay, well, that's again a big question. So I don't want to give all my tricks away, of what's
That's
to
fair
come.
enough.
But I guess realistically, for me, there's so many levels. So the kind of first thing is obviously building back up, from obviously a very unique year. Um, but future wise is us getting triple golds. That's the dream. Again, hopefully seeing some positive impact for our players too, in like very micro forms. So by that I mean obviously listening to players' voice, enhancing the transparency for our players between what's going on in the background, all the logistics, all the processes and how things are decided, enhancing the feedback mechanisms, kind of them having their voice to influence and kind of shape England as well, because they are at the heart of all we do. So that's a really big thing for me. Um, and then again, enhancing our players' knowledge through education. So England already had a really established specialist staff team. So with like soft tissue, sports psychology, nutrition, etc. So I just want to keep building upon that, because I think that's really important to kind of develop players' knowledge to give their best outputs and help them actually achieve that success. So those kinds of things. But additionally, one thing that's really important to me, and I know British Dodgeball again are really pushing this, is about inspiring and empowering the future generations of dodgeball. So I really want to look at doing some junior development days and actually giving a bit back a bit to the wider dodgeball community. So I think that will, number one, the kids will love it, and we should be inspiring them and helping them because they will be taking our spots in future years. So yeah.
If we can help it. But no, I think you're right. Like, you've always got to look to the future generations, don't you? And I think a big thing for me is getting like our viewership up. So I think the more juniors we can get actually watching like the European champs and the world champs, I think they'll grow up like, as you say, like inspired by this generation to carry on playing. Yeah, so that's wicked. Cool. Anyway, so talking about Euros, I don't think we can avoid it any longer. What is it now? 4 weeks until Euros?
Yeah, not long.
So it's getting close. So first of all, are you looking forward to the European Championships, or is like your organization role, are you sort of stressed about it at the moment?
Oh, well, I'd say a bit mixed bag of emotions,
Bit of
really.
both, yeah.
But I think overall it's excitement and positive energy that I think people will see and might see me in the wider community as I'm quite a hype person when I'm in a box or when I'm
Yeah.
supporting people. I'll always be there, so I'm sure I'll be England's #1 fan. But what
I
I'm
put on the lion suit.
oh, what? Yeah, Kimber, isn't it? I
Yeah.
don't know where that is. That definitely used to be a thing. I've not seen that. I'll have to inquire if we have to. But again, I'm really excited. I'm obviously the players, their energy at training has been really like infectious too. You can tell everyone's getting their heads on and really getting pumped because it's obviously getting closer. So the reality's here. So yeah, overall, I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, and I think it's just nice to have that to have it back, and I think people are going to enjoy it so much more to have dodgeball back at that high level. So yeah.
Cool. And looking at the teams, how did you find the selection process? Because I know historically England have had quite a lot of depth and quality. So yeah, how did you find the selection process?
Extremely hard.
Yes.
Being absolutely frank, is that it the like you just said, everyone's come back from COVID, and obviously everyone's been training, doing a lot of dodgeball. So the form of players is really high at the moment, which made selection incredibly hard, and trials and everything just so hard. I think like the staff and I spent a good probably 6 hours in calls deciding squads and
Oh,
deciding
wow.
players. Yeah, a lot of time goes into this. And obviously, because we've figured out as a coaching body that I think between all of the clubs that we're involved with, we can fill out like a week's worth of trainings. So it's logistical nightmare to try and get us all on one Teams call together. So we had to do like part calls and then relay. But then when we did get together, yeah, it was really, really hard, ebbing and flowing. Like you're critiquing at the smallest detail between a spot. So yeah, it was incredibly hard, but obviously it's also sounds really weird, but an exciting process for me to like really understand again the full package of what's England managers involved with. And again, I'm sure the staff would relay this, but I'm someone that loves to be a bit challenging. I love to be that soundboard, really check and challenge, ensure that we're being consistent as well as some of the other staff. So yeah, I think that's why it did take quite a long time, is because the caliber of players is just so high. So it's just picking the smallest detail to why to have someone and why to not. And especially, I think within the women's squad, the depth of players that we've had this year is phenomenal. And I think it's looking like a really strong squad and team. And I'm super excited for that all to be announced for you all. So yeah.
Yes. So have you we had a break from like COVID and stuff.
Mhm.
Would you say that there's familiar faces in the squad, or would you say there's maybe a mix of some new faces that people don't recognize? Or
Yeah, well, I think obviously see we've got some players that people will recognise and names within the dodgeball community that we all know very well. As long as there is some fresh faces within the squad. So yeah, I think that's really nice, and I'm really happy to see how people have supported new players into England as well. And I think it's been really positive that I feel like there's been a good level of inclusivity and people coming together. There's been people trying to like really support them with understanding the tactics and gelling. So again, it's been really nice to see that and have that good atmosphere at training. So yeah, it's been really nice to see.
Nice. Cool. I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
It's not a question anyone likes to answer, but what are your expectations for England at the championships?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think realistically, we are like everybody. There's been a global pandemic. So it's been a lot of rebuilding, and it's been rebuilding in a short time frame. So we've obviously been trying to get back on track, get players in. Again, me kind of coming in has been from February. So we've realistically had 4 months of me fully head on, let's go.
Yeah.
So that's also been a lot of the time pressure too. But overall, I think I'm sure you can attest to this too, that the hunger in the squad for gold is really high, and everyone is like constantly saying about it. Everyone's really hype about it at training, and that is obviously for me the expectation is to have fun, always most important, number one thing, but to try and get into those finals. That's what I'd love to see. And obviously, I know Phil, a couple of the longer serving players that might be in the squad, definitely feel the hunger to get another gold medal, because there might have been a bit of time where some of the squads didn't get there. So I think that thirst is there and that drive is there, which is really exciting. So obviously the dream is triple gold, and fingers crossed and everything, and I have full belief in the team that we can achieve it, with all the support of the staff too. So let's go.
Cool. Not asking for much then, just 3 golds.
That's the dream. That's the dream. Let's aim for finals. But yeah, again, I think all of the players and the team, they have it within them. So yeah, I'm
I
buzzing.
agree with you. The hunger's definitely there. Cool. Well, I won't take any more of your time up. Thanks for talking to us today, Jen. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you
Um,
so much for having me.
yeah, and good luck at the champs.
Yeah, let's do this.